In the bottom right, as Red's playing Valder, we have Red Gems. In the top left, we have Spacefront playing Valder as well. So clearly these two missed the Valder ban, and they were both like, yeah, this is the best commander to play in this situation.
I mean, maybe they just think they're favored in the Valder mirror, you know?
Yeah, and ooh, we're seeing the heal play again. Lots of people seem to be going for this. Balloon comes out, heal comes out, and he's healing a bit further away. He's up in the north, like Spacefront is, so... Red Gem's gonna have the center position, but he can't really capture anything, because it will just get knocked down. I guess he could capture this first. He's just electing to heal himself again. Cause
Yeah. I mean, you could have captured another village last turn instead of healing, but, you know.
yeah, oh, and here we go. He's just gonna...
I think Red Gem's healing twice means that Spacefront is free to go attack on this right side.
Yeah, and like he's up at the northeast. Nothing could really contest that. I would have thought... Oh, actually no, that's a beach tile, so Merfolk can't get a free hit on Valder. We're gonna start seeing Rising from Graves.
Yep. Spacefront gets a 1-turn lead on his groove for this first one. Because he grooved first even though he's player 2.
The big divergence in play I'm noticing is that Spacefront was going for swords primarily, which, as someone who likes to play Valder, I don't actually think is the best idea, because when you are getting swords so frequently, having more swords seems a bit of a waste. Like, you really just want to have like dogs, and he's built a knight as well, like Red Gems has. And those are going to do way better against like the mass sword play. But we'll see how Spacefront makes this work.
I think Sneaky said once, like, superpower of Spacefront is like how he plays around with swords. So I guess he's doing that.
But we have the extra mobility of these dogs coming into play.
Yeah, I think Red Gem's not trading that well into Spacefront's army right now. He's only hitting swords. And he's exposing like more expensive units.
But Spacefront can't really hit back though, because like the swords don't really deal too much damage to dogs, especially injured swords.
That's true, so I guess it was a good call of Red Gems. Getting some pressure off his HQ, which he really needed, really.
Yeah, and here comes, he's just gonna keep going forwards and keep dealing damage.
Yeah, Valder has been hitting Valder like twice in a row.
I love that he there's a village on 1%, he uses a 2% sword to decap. It's pretty optimal play.
Sword is left behind the...
Ooh, but one thing that Spacefront really has going for him now is like he's winning the seafront. Like he's gonna have those two merfolk able to hit that.
Yeah, he's winning both seafronts. And Red Gems just brought the North Merfolk to the land front to help out.
I guess a cheeky we hit on the merfolk with the weak sword.
By my hand,
yeah, I mean, it's probably the best value this sword is gonna get.
And I wonder if like Red Gems, I mean, the interesting thing is like the North Waterfront wasn't pushed by Spacefront. He decided to just walk back, which I think he could have put some more pressure on. But elects not to. Moves back to like a more safe position. And now he's got some more heavy hitting units out, so he's got his knight out, which can like do stuff like one shot the dogs.
Yeah, he's got some like real HQ pressure now.
That knight actually, he could he's gonna take a counter hit from the Merfolk crit though, which is a pretty big deal.
Spacefront is pulling ahead on unit count, I believe.
Oh, Ballista comes out.
Yeah, Ballista not bad on this map, but his army is a bit squishy, I feel, to build a Ballista. Like he's gonna have a bit of trouble to protecting the Ballista.
It'll get to the front line though, and he'll be able to. I mean, he can put it behind, like, let's say the knight, for example. That'll come forward, and then that just kind of creates this like giant area where you just get free damage each turn.
Yeah, Ballista kind of covers the entire map once you move it a bit.
But yeah,
So getting a
Spacefront.
Ballista to the center is like almost a win con in itself, I feel.
Rise from your
But like,
grave.
Dragon, the massive counter to Ballista, the dragon, of course. But yeah, like Spacefronts, he's forced back. Like the Ballista, it doesn't really do that much damage, but you have to respect it somewhat.
Yeah, does the functions the same as an archer, but safer and anti-air. But this is like, look at these giant diagonal fronts. Like I haven't seen many matches that evolved into this.
Yeah, this is a heavy unit count Dendritic. Normally it doesn't come down to this. Like there's normally a lot more trading that happens.
Red Jam's really pushing forward, like full committing, I guess.
Yeah, well I mean any air unit in the center is gonna die. So I guess he knows he can go for this, but yeah, Spacefront's just doing a lot of damage right now.
The Merfolk came down from the seafront, so usually that's something to look out for when the Merfolk transition onto land.
Oh, this is so much damage coming out. I think Red Gems needed to move forward a little bit slower. And one thing, I never thought I'd ever say this, but we might see a timeout. Because like, Dendritic is not a map where you really see timeouts.
They've both been taking like quite a bit of time playing these turns. Although Red Gems is ahead.
Oh, and yeah, like Red Gems went for the...
Going for lethal.
Red Gems tried to go for that, but I think there's so much dice rolling involved in trying to get a lethal like that. And just, it didn't work out. So, Spacefront, he took a lead early on and held it the entire game. Like, he had that income lead, he had that unit lead.
Yeah,
so hard to,
I
like,
think,
push back against that.
I think it all came down to the early way they played with their commanders. Spacefront managed to be a bit more active, and that gave him the edge he needed. And I mean, it's also really hard to play your lead perfectly, so credit to both, you know?
Yeah, and actually, one thing to think about is the reason we see such a high unit count on this map is because they're playing a commander that spawns swords all the time. So,
I think it's also because they're placing their units in such a way that it's hard to attack into them. So the best play when facing that is basically to do the same thing elsewhere. And if both players do that, it becomes very like movement heavy and positional heavy, and the first one to make a mistake really kind of loses his army. Right now it was very subtle, I guess, but I think Red Gems attacked a bit too far, like you said, and that I think maybe the idea was to attack before the dragon becomes active, but that cost him the game. So it's a very like knife's edge game, I feel. Anything could have happened.
Yeah. Well, that is Dendritic. It's definitely a knife's edge map.